They do not care. They care that you can code. Be flexible, know more than one technology, be familiar with common standards, take risks, and don't kill yourself. You are not an application developer. If you ever say to yourself, I am an application developer, it's time to kill yourself. That's not what you are. You are technologists. If you don't believe me, go into your ACM room and start talking about your robots, look at your high-definition televisions and all the cool gadgets and widgets you want to play with. You're technologists. Now, you may focus on application development, but you are not application developers. Do not put yourself in that corner. Do not be afraid to reach out to secondary technologies to get the job done. Any technology is great, and you'll find I pick on Java a little bit, but that's only because I make a lot of money fixing Java developer mistakes. And it's not because Java's bad. It's because Java has a tendency to give you so much that you stop thinking about what you're doing. Oh, I need to do X. Well, I just use EJB, or I use this container, or I'll use this widget. You stop actually thinking about the design or the architecture. And all of a sudden it becomes little blocks on a piece of paper. You don't think about the underlying things that are going to happen, like when you're working with a database and Java builds your model. Okay? Those are really important things. And to be fair, it's not just Java. Python does the same thing. Python is known as the language with more web frameworks than any other. Okay, so it's not just Java, it's just that Java's an easy one to pick on because it's big and it's pervasive, and I know you guys are learning it. If you're a Java web developer, understand Tomcat, Jakarta, and Geronimo. If you cannot install that and you cannot set it up, do not apply for a job with me. Okay? You've got to know the technology that you're working with. And if you're doing Java web development, that's the technology you're working with. And there might be JBoss or something else. But those are the technologies you're working with. Don't come to me or any other boss and say, I'm a Java app developer, I know JSP. Because the first words out of my mouth, if I'm a good boss, is I'm going to say, tell me about Jakarta. Or tell me about JBoss. Or more generally, what application servers are you familiar with? The sysadmin does that. No, sysadmin does not do that. Not anymore. The popularization of open source changed the standards. It is very, very rare that you see a shop, even big shops, where you have one guy doing one thing, waiting on the other guy, and covering his butt because he's waiting for the other guy. At least, I mean, there are companies out there that still do that, but they're dying. The new ecosystem, what you guys are going to encounter, what you guys are going to retire on, is what I'm talking about. Code is not documentation. I know you have these lovely class generators that build out the tree, and I can point, and I can click, and it drills down the method. And yes, I can read what it's doing. The QA analyst can't. It is not a manual. Make sure you document it. And I guarantee you, if you walk into a job interview and you say, if they ask you, what is the first rule of code? And you say, document first or test first. You're going to get a little brownie point on your resume when it goes into the pile before they leave for the seat. Just because it's easy doesn't mean it's correct. Hibernate is a perfect example. Who here has ever used Hibernate? All right. Hibernate works. I don't argue that. And I do not disagree that it's nice to go click, 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 here's my hierarchy of data, click, 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 boom, builds it. Until you got to maintain it. Because it's not just about you, folks. It's about the app stack. It's about the user. It's about the database. It's also about, and this is one we all forget, how much data you're pushing over the wire. If you think just because you're running gigabit, you don't have to worry about bandwidth over the wire, I got 17 books for you to read that you won't understand. It's very important. Because if you're drawing 250 or 300 queries to display a page, you're adding an exponential amount of overhead to the delivery of that content. TCP transport alone. Now, You got one guy doing it, no big deal. You got 1,000, you've got a bottleneck. Think about how you're doing things. It's the whole stack. It's not just one thing. No more than one technology. It's great to be a Java, .NET, C, or C++, whatever programmer. It is. I don't care what language you program. Well, generally don't care what language you program in. I mean, if you came to me and said, I'm a COBOL developer, willing to learn it, sorry. I mean, COBOL has its place. It just has no place with what I do. Okay? But it's not as important as... If you come in and you say, look, yeah, I took Java in school, but I also know .NET, and I've exposed myself to Ruby and Python, and I even played a little bit with Eiffel. Anyone here know what Eiffel is? Yeah, I figured the problem, but it's old educational language. Kind of nifty, okay? It's dead now, nobody uses it. Kind of like TCL. But, but the fact that you're well-rounded is very important, because the Java way or the C# way is bogus. Okay? It's just a methodology, and there's a lot of them out there, and it takes more than knowing one way to be a good programmer. If you're doing this because you love code and you love technology, do not constrain yourself. It's not worth it. Just go do something else. Go do business, go do PR, whatever. Do robotics. Okay, but if you are being a developer, expose yourself to that, because you will learn a lot. Entering the job market with a common skill means lower pay. I guarantee you, if you come to me and say, I know Java, I'm willing to learn, you will make less than the person that says, I know Java, by at least 15 grand a year, minimum. And if you tack onto that, I hate ORMs and I love PostgreSQL, we're set. Okay? Java will get you a job. So will .NET. So will C. So will C++. Hands down. You will get a cubicle, you will get 60 hours a week, and you will get a paycheck. And it will suck the life out of you faster than drinking Clorox. Explore what's out there. If these